Hello everyone, my name is Sutton the Wolf, and welcome back to Will You Press the Button? I wanted to try and do this again, because I feel like I got the short end of the stick last time. I feel as if, I got some poor questions mixed in with some very good ones. I feel like I did not get the full experience that this sort of would-you-rather device could have projected onto me. Therefore, I am going to attempt this once again before I switch to alternative methods of debate over mundane and or serious issues. So, might as well get into it. Will you press the button if you are granted 3 wishes, but every wish you make will reduce your lifespan accordingly to the type of wish that you make. The more complicated the wish, the more lifespan it will take. Well, my first question is, am I going to be aware of how much life this will take off of me? Because I don't want to be the person who takes this deal and then says, oh, hey, I want to have a very pretty girlfriend. And then, according to me, it's like, oh, that's really simple. I just want to get a pretty girlfriend. But then the wish takes it as, oh, you want to have a pretty girlfriend, that means I need to find someone that's going to love you for who you are, that also happens to be pretty, and that's going to, like, be willing to go out with you, and, like, I'm gonna have to arrange for you to meet them and naturally start going out with them. And so that's really complicated, so I'm gonna take 20 years off your life. Bye-bye. So that seems really dangerous. However, I also want to ask the question of, do you have a choice as to when you're making these wishes? Because there's always the, I always think of the situation in my head where it's like, you're just like sitting there at your chair, and you're just like, man, I wish I had some lunch right now. And then poof, one of your wishes is gone. And so I wonder if you can can you determine when you're going to be doing this, or is that accidental thing possible? Because if you can accidentally spend your wishes, then no, that's like not worth it at all. But if you can choose when you're going to use your wishes, then this is one of those powers where it's like, yes, you can do it, but you don't have to. Like, if you don't accidentally use your wishes, then you don't have to use your wishes. And in that case, you can literally just keep the power. You can keep the power and say, okay, I can make 3 wishes that will automatically come true whenever I want, but I don't have to. So it's like, if you're gonna die, then you can say, oh, I wish I'm not gonna die. And then, yeah, you're gonna lose, like, 5 years off of your life, but at the same time, you're not gonna die, which would cut, like, 40 years off of your life, maybe. So, this is one of the situations where I would press the button, just because there's no reason not to have the option. Like, there's no drawback unless you do it. So, do you see what I mean? Like, does that make sense? If I take this, then I can make the wishes whenever I want, but I don't have to. So, if I'm perfectly content, then I can just say, okay, well, I don't want to take any lifespan off, so I'm not going to make any wishes. I'm just going to keep these for a rainy day. Then I get into the situation where it's like, okay, my friend is going to be run over by a truck if I don't do something. Okay, I'm willing to sacrifice, like, 5 years from my life. So in that case, I'll press the button. Because there's no reason for me not to have it, you know? Yeah, so like 60-40. I think a lot of people might see that. That's kind of how I operate with a lot of these kinds of things, where it's like, if there's a drawback to an optional thing, you can just take it and then not do the optional thing. So, it's kind of like I'm never going to turn down the ability to do something if I'm not, like, guaranteed to have a bad thing. Like, I don't have to... I don't know. It's like, if it's formatted in the, if you can do something, but if you do, this happens, that's fine, because then I could just take it and then not do the thing. Whereas, it's more punishing if you say, okay, if you take this option, then this will happen to you, regardless of whether or not you do it. Then you have to actually think about it. Regardless. Will you press the button if you can build your own world and decide who and what will live on it, but you only have 1 day to make it and you will always be 6 years old in that world? No sex, no driving cars, no respect. I like how it has that little, like, parentheses there. I probably wouldn't do this. It'd be cool to build your own world, decide who and what will live on it, but at the same time, you have to, like, there are so many things involved in making a world. Like, you have to figure out ecosystems, you have to figure out, like, you have to micromanage all of these little things in terms of, like, reactions with things, or, like, making sure that the food chain won't, like, kill itself off via not being stable or something. Like, there's so many intricacies into making a world that are so overlooked that I would never want to actually be in charge of that. And then, of course, if you're in the world as well, and you're aware of it, then there's two things. A, you're going to be aware of it, and when the world ultimately fails because you've only had one day to make it, and you obviously screw up because if you only have one day to make it, then you're not going to do a good job. So you're forced to look at the world around you as it does poorly, and people are going to realize that you're only 6 years old, and you're probably going to be identified as some sort of hellish child and then killed off because you don't age. So, unless you can somehow make beings that won't be alarmed by your inability to age, that would be scary. And also, I will not be in charge of creating a world. Too many micromanagement things that you would have to take into account in only one day, which would not be possible. So, no. So, no, I'm not going to. This was one of those things like I was talking about. Yes, I have the option to make my own world. However, I only have one day to make it. So it's not like one of those things where I can just put it off until I feel like it or until I need it. It's, I have one day to do it. And so, I'm not going to go through that. Will you press the button if your clothes would never get dirty, but you would have to take all of your showers and baths with your parents? Well, I mean, there's two sides of this. Like, so, what happens if your parents don't live with you? Like, say I'm off at university, and I'm living in a dorm room, and I want to take a shower. Do I have to drive back to my parents' house and, like, go take a bath or shower with them? Like, do I have to do that? Or do I, like, get teleported over there and then, or they're teleported to my shower whenever I want to? Like, how does that work? I'm assuming, by the wording of this, you would have to take all your showers and baths with your parents, meaning that if you want to shower or take a bath, you have to go to where your parents are. And that would be incredibly not worth it, because, I mean, look, like, a month from now, I'm going to be in Argentina. Like, I'm not going to fly back to the States some, like, 20 fucking hours on a flight just to go take a bath. So, no, that's not worth it at all, because even if your clothes never get dirty, you yourself don't. You yourself do get dirty. So, no, I'm not going to press that. That's not worth it at all. Thank you. Will you press the button if you can revive one dead person, but you have to choose someone else to die in their place? So this is the classic, like, are you willing to put someone's life ahead of someone else? But, if you think about this, I would personally do this, and I would revive someone who's, like, younger or, like, really important, like, someone who's got a lot to live for. And then the person to die in their place, I'd, like, you know, you could pick someone that's, like, on life support and, like, who doesn't really want to live anymore. Like, that sounds really dark and morbid, but at the same time, like, if you have the opportunity to, like, get someone back who has a lot to do in their life and they want to live, rather than, like, be dead, and you have people who are, like, either really old or they're really, like debilitated and they legitimately don't want to live anymore, then I'd say you can do that. I would not revive someone that I'm close to and then say, okay, well, let's kill off this celebrity I don't like. Like, no, that's bad. But if it were up to me, I would take this, and then I would, like, go to some kind of hospital or some kind of, like, I'd like go to some kind of hospital, go to some kind of, like, facility, and I would explain the situation, and I would say, okay, is there anyone here who doesn't want to, like, it's really dark now that I'm explaining it, but, like, you basically have to say, is there anyone who is willing to give up their life for someone else who has more ability to do things in life? And I think you would be able to find people who would say, yeah, I'm willing to die for that. And that's very admirable. So yeah, I'd press the button. Just out of the standpoint of, like, letting someone live their life that didn't get to is probably more valuable than someone just sitting there living on machines for, like, a few months, you know? Like, what if someone's on their deathbed? If someone's on their deathbed, and they've got, like, a terminal illness, then, I mean, it's dark, but you can say that maybe they'd be willing to sacrifice themselves. So I'm gonna press it. A lot of people agree with me, it looks like. Man, these are a lot better today. Props. These are a lot harder questions and a lot better questions, I feel, than I got last time. Will you press the button if you will live for thousands of years, but probably you will live as an adventurer until you die and you will outlive everyone else? There's always a hope that you will find some like you, but you may not. Well, okay, this is tough. You will live as an adventurer until you die, and you will outlive everyone else. Yeah. So this is kind of like the classic immortality thing. You know, probably not. Just because, you know, there are so many things I can go over with this in terms of, like, the wording of this. Like, probably you will live as an adventurer doesn't mean that you will live as an adventurer. There's always hope that you find some like you, and also, what does it mean that you outlive everyone else if you only live for thousands of years? What is thousands of years? How many thousands are we talking about? Can I kill myself if I feel like I'm done with this? Like, you know, there's so many things I can talk about with this, but I think when it comes down to immortality and things like that, I have a pretty steadfast opinion that it's not worth it. Like, you will outlive all of these people that mean things to you, and also, assumedly, what this is talking about is your lifespan would be that long, which would mean that you would age over that time, rather than, like, aging to, like, 100 years old and being, like, a really old person and then just being in that state for, like, thousands of years. I would assume it means, like, okay, 1,000 years from now, I still look like this. And that leads to a lot of innate problems of people will realize that you're not aging and will be scared of you. I mean, that's what human nature is. If someone doesn't understand something, they're scared of it often. You'll find some people that either sympathize with you or think it's cool that you've got this ability, but the majority of people will not understand you and will be either scared of you or wary of you or rat you out to the government or something. It's sad, but that's how it is, so no. People pressed the button. Well, I'm in the minority there. I don't think it's worth it. Will you press the button if you have the ability to see behind you, but your vision becomes 5 times worse in both the front and the back? You know, I'd say no. I'm already a pretty cautious person. Like, I always kind of, like, whenever I'm walking alone somewhere, I'll, like, look around and make sure I'm not, like, being followed or something. So I don't really think I need to have the ability to see behind me, because you have the ability to see behind you, but you're not looking behind you at the same time. You still have to move your eyes, or, like, you have to divert your attention from what's in front of you to look behind you. So it's no different than just turning your head. So you could be more discreet about looking behind you, but that's really all there is to it. And if that's going to make your vision 5 times worse, then that's not worth it at all. So no. Yeah, see, no one... Like, 76%. Yeah. Will you press the button if you will never face a negative event in your life, but you will never face a positive event in your life? Well, that's pretty obvious that you wouldn't want that, because then your life just becomes boring. It's bland. Like, if nothing bad happens in your life, that's all well and good, but then you won't learn anything from it. And if no good things happen in your life, then it's not worth it anyway. So no. Yeah. Nope. A lot of these are pretty, like, clear-cut, it seems. Like, in terms of, not in terms of the discussion of the topic, but in terms of, like, a lot of these are, like, 75-25 rather than, like, 50-50. I haven't really had a close one yet. I think the closest we've had this episode is 60-40. Will you press the button if you can travel to any of the universes of the shows, comics, your friends' ideas, literally any universe, but each time you get to a new universe, you lose all your memories until they're triggered by something? So that last part... Oh, man. So that last part is the big thing for me. Until they're triggered by something. What triggers it? Like... Are they triggered by, like, say I go to a new universe and I lose all my memories, and some person makes food that I eat that is very reminiscent of my mother's cooking from whenever I was little. Does that remind me of all my memories? And when they're triggered by that, does that remind me of just my mother's cooking, or does that remind me of my entire life? Because if it reminds me of if food can remind me of my entire life, then I'd say that's worth it. But if like going through a very harrowing experience results in me remembering one tiny part of my life, that's not worth it. So here, I'm satisfied with where I'm at now. Not like I'm content with my life. Obviously, I want to do things better, and I want to get better in life. But I would love to be able to travel to universes, but at the same time, it's really risky if it's not defining enough what the rules are. Like, I'm not sure if I would get my memories back in a efficient enough way to warrant it being worth it. But on the other hand, I assume since you can travel there, you can travel back, so once you remember, you can travel back. And there's something I didn't even think about. So you can travel to any of the universes ever. Assumedly, you can travel with things. Like, for example, the way it's worded, I would assume I can, like, take my clothes or something. And even if I can't, I would just get, like, a tattoo that says, okay, here's an explanation of everything. Or, like, I could just get a tattoo from, like, my neck all the way to my hip, all around my body, that just says, okay, this is who I am, this is what I'm doing, this is everything. And then bam, problem solved. So, in that vein, it doesn't even matter whether or not it all gets triggered back at once, or if I just get little reminders, because then, like, I can get all the important information, like, on my person, whether it's tattoos or if I'm allowed to bring, like, a document with me. If I'm allowed to bring a document, then there's no reason not to whatsoever, because you could just literally write the world's most comprehensive book on all of your memories, and then just take it with you. So yeah, I'd press the button if you could just do that. So yeah, okay, I can't believe I didn't think of that. Like, that makes it so much easier. Will you press the button if every day an attractive and wealthy member of the opposite gender will fall helplessly in love with you, but this includes those who are married, taken, and those you haven't met before? polygamy will be banned and shunned throughout the world. Well, I mean, well, I don't know. I mean, this is one of those classic situations of like, you know, it'd be nice, but not really worth it. Like, I can make the whole conversation of like, oh, does polygamy just mean marriage, or does polygamy mean girlfriends? Like, whatever. Plus, this is worded in a way that like, that's like insensitive to people of like homosexual, whatever you want to call them, preferences. And while I myself am heterosexual, like, I don't know, same gender couples are okay in my opinion, and this question doesn't include those. At the same time, if I'm talking about myself here, I am heterosexual, and it would be nice to have a lot of attractive, wealthy women falling in love with me, but I don't want to cause all of these problems. They fall helplessly in love with you, and they basically ruin their own relationships that they're in. And that's just not worth it. Like, I'd much rather... Also, So, real talk. If I had this supernatural quality that makes all of these women, these perfect women, these perfectly beautiful, wealthy, whatever women, these wonderful people, if all of them are attracted to me, in love with me, whatever it is, if they are clamoring to get at me, they are the sweetest people in the world, and all they want is just to be loved and be in a relationship, or just the most wholesome thing ever. In the most ideal of situations, my question throughout my entire life would be why? Why are they attracted to me? Why? What's so good about me? And then the answer would just be, oh, well, I have this quality that makes it that way. That's not fulfilling. That's like, that hurts. You know? It's like, it feels like you're cheating the system. And like, I know that makes it sound like there's a system in place, but like, what I'm trying to say is, if you don't feel like you've earned it, your self-confidence is gonna tank. And that's not something that anyone wants to go through. And of course, whenever your self-confidence tanks, you know, that affects the people around you that are falling in love with you. They'll still be in love with you because they can't help it. But that's going to make them upset. It's going to make them sad. It's going to make them hurt to see this person that they love hate themselves, basically. And so that situation, while you'd think it's ideal, it's really not. And so I have to say I'm not going to press the button. But a lot of people, apparently I'm in the minority, but I really don't think it's worth it for those reasons that I just said. But let me know what you guys think. This is a good one to leave for you guys, I think. This is one that has a lot of hidden things you can talk about. Things that people don't really realize. So yeah, I personally think that as someone who is far from perfect, if a perfect person fell in love with me for seemingly no reason other than this quality that forces them to, if that happens, then I'm gonna feel terrible. Like, I didn't earn it. I didn't deserve it. So I would basically just get caught in this loop of trying to do things constantly to make it worth it, to make myself deserve them, and it would cause a lot of problems. Because you wouldn't really ever feel like you're worth it. You wouldn't feel that you deserve this. And, you know, then I didn't even go into the problems of if every single day a new person falls in love with you. If every single day a new person falls in love with you, then you're gonna run into a situation where there's just so many people, like, that you couldn't possibly give all of them attention, you know? So, it's unfortunate, but at the same time, there's so many things that go into it that just make this not worth it, in my opinion. But, I want to hear what you guys think. Maybe there's something I'm missing. Maybe I'm just a dunce. Well, we already know that, but maybe I'm denser than we know. Regardless, that's going to do it for me today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Leave your thoughts and opinions down in the comments section down below. Let me know if I've been too real, not real enough, not silly enough, or too silly, and everything in between. So, without further ado, I will see you guys next time on whatever it is we may be doing together.